Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Temple Beth Or and our Friday evening worship service. We are grateful to have you with us, streaming here on our YouTube channel. I'm grateful to our resident techies, Phil Carey, up in the state of Washington, and David Youngman, who is right here as well. Thank you to the both of you for getting our worship services out on the internet. Also grateful to our cantor, Ariel Goldfarb, and our accompanist, Dr. Ray Irwin. It is wonderful for us to be able to bring you this service from our sanctuary as we maintain our social distancing and indeed even mask wearing for those who are traveling from different places. The cantor and I being part of family, well, hey, we'll risk the germ sharing as we speak and sing. Anyway, it is a pleasure to have you all with us. Our president, Dina Jastrock, is unable to be with us, so just a reminder of a couple of things coming up tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. On Zoom, we have our Shabbat morning Torah study. On Monday evening at 7:30, a congregational meeting. An opportunity for the congregation to approve the slate of officers as presented by the nominating committee and approved by the board. That information was sent out some time ago. You should have received it in the email. In your email, you have an opportunity to vote via email this year. So please do so. If you haven't already done so, please do so now during the course of this weekend. It's important we have those votes before we begin the meeting on Monday. That will be a Zoom meeting, and so there'll be an opportunity for questions and answers and presentations as well. That's Monday, June the 8th. I think that's June the 8th. Yeah. 6, 7, 8, 9. It would be...
Today's the 5th.
Today's the 5th. Good, yeah.
6,
Sorry,
7, 8th.
June the 8th. Excellent. We have some official Shabbat greetings from members of our congregation. Thank you very much to Harry and Victoria Jacobs, Joyce Kessler, Karen Katz, Miriam Brookfield, Leslie Berger, and Jeff and Wilma SHIR. Thank you very much for sponsoring our Shabbat greetings. I want to note that Harry and Victoria, Joyce, and Leslie are all members of our board, and Jeff is a past president of our congregation. So thank you very much for your support. Also, we are grateful to have provided for us virtual flowers in honor of Sharon Kravitz's special birthday. I'm not one to give away a woman's age, so we will just acknowledge it as a special birthday, Sharon. Thank you very much, Mike, for sponsoring the flowers in honor of Sharon's birthday. There you see Sharon pictured with Courtney and Ashley, her two daughters, during our Iron Chef Latke evening, I believe. Yes, they're wearing their aprons. That's part of the Iron Chef Latke event that we do in December. Hopefully, this December we'll be able to do that as well when we hopefully be able to gather together. With that, let us begin our worship service with the singing of a song to put us in the mood for not only Shabbat, but also an opportunity to think about our obligations as citizens of this country and as members of the human family, to be a part of peace wherever we go. Our prophets envisioned a time when we would no longer have to prepare for war, that nation would not lift up sword against nation, and never again would they have to send their sons and daughters out to war, that it would be a time of peace. Those words from Isaiah, repeated also in the prophet Micah, who actually envisioned it as an even more bucolic setting where we would sit under our vines and under our fig trees and none would make us afraid. We are living in indeed some very difficult times, not only with this pandemic, but also with the deaths of so many at the hands of those who have been sworn to protect them. And so our hearts go out to all the families who have suffered loss. I condemn the acts of violence that have been associated with the peaceful marches and these protests. The looting and the destruction is heartbreaking. On top of the economic effects of this pandemic, it is nothing short of a catastrophe. And so our hearts go out to all who have suffered loss during this time. And it is my hope, and indeed all of our hope, I believe, that we will be able to rise above this that as a nation we will be able to grow and to improve and to address the issues that need to be addressed. And so we begin with those words from Isaiah. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev. Beautiful cantor. Strange is our situation here upon earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to devise a purpose. From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we know: that man is here for the sake of other men. Above all, for those upon whose smile and well-being our own happiness depends, and also for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected by a bond of sympathy. Many times a day I realize how much my own outer and inner life is built upon the labors of my fellow man, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return as much as I have received. So wrote Albert Einstein. We continue as we light our Shabbat candles, and I'm honored to invite Ray, our accompanist, Dr. Ray Irwin, to join the cantor and I, and he will be lighting our candles for us this evening. I think we're changing candles. Ray, you want to be in the middle? I have something to read first. As we kindle these Sabbath lights, let us be moved by their light, to bring light to those who dwell in darkness. Let us be moved by the warmth and the glow of these lights, so that we might be a source of compassion to those facing struggles. May these lights inspire us to acts of justice and to peace.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Lehadlik ner shel shalom.
We'll read it together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot and inspires us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Thank you very much, Ray. And thank you very much, Cantor. Before we continue with our Kiddush, an opportunity to acknowledge Sharon Kravitz's special birthday. Sharon with a special certificate which is on its way to your home. I am honored to share with you the words of our certificate, our now truly world famous birthday certificates. Zehayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismechavo. This is the day Adonai has made, a day for us to rejoice and be glad, although not exactly today, but soon, coming up in just a couple days, I do believe. God of days of years, author of life, we thank you for the blessings of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather today to share in the happiness of Sharon Kravitz in celebration of her special birthday. May Sharon be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. With your presence at her side, may Sharon be blessed to see her world in her lifetime. May Sharon's heart act wisely, her lips speak wisdom, and her tongue whisper songs. And may her vision always be toward the future, her eyes shine with the light of Torah, and her face glow like the splendor of the heavens. May Sharon be blessed with wholeness, contentment, peace, and above all with shalom. Celebrated this 14th day of Sivan, the 5th day of June, signed by myself, our cantor, and our president, in the presence of your congregation. Sharon, it is our pleasure and honor to celebrate with you and to wish you all the best for your happy birthday as we join together with the words of our Shehechianu, our prayer of gratitude, thanking God for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this wonderful occasion.
Oh my goodness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu vekimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu vekimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh.
Happy birthday to you, Sharon and Mike and the Kravitz family. Thank you very much for sponsoring our virtual flowers for this evening. We continue with the words of our Kiddush, toasting the joy of Shabbat, our ability to gather together, even be it on the internet and even be it from a distance. Nonetheless, we are grateful to be able to celebrate this Shabbat with you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu Shalom.
In the Jewish tradition, the separation between prayer and action is slight. We are mindful of the admonition of Isaiah, where God says, I do not want your fast or your sacrifice. I want you to deal your bread to the hungry, tear apart the chains of the oppressed. And Leviticus 19 tells us that to be holy in the way God is holy means to set aside a corner of our fields for the poor and for the homeless, to pay the laborer a timely and fair wage, and to remove stumbling blocks. These are religious activities just as much as prayer is. They are woven together in Jewish tradition. We continue with the words of our Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim. Uvitvona meshanei itim umachalif et hazmanim. Umsader et hakochavim b'mishmarotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla. Umavdil ben yom uvein layla Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch alenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. One must repeat from time to time, the world was created for my sake. Never say, what do I care about this or that? Do your part to add something new, to bring something forth that is needed, and to leave the world a little better because you were here briefly. We need to listen to the voice of the one we proclaim to love. When we allow ourselves to hear the divine voice, then God's commandments are awakened in us, and the sensation that is freedom opens our eyes, and where freedom commences, history begins. A difficult task was assigned to our people as we lived our history. It is so easy to listen to the voices of the idols found in each generation. And it is so hard for us to hear the voice of God. It is easy to remain a slave, and it's so difficult to become free. We can only fully exist when we take God's challenge seriously. We can only exist when, in tasting freedom, we reach out to free all others who are still slaves.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And just how do we show our love of God? By taking care of that which God has created, the world and human beings and animals. When we take care of those creatures that God has created, we show our love for God. True, we are often too weak to stop injustices, but the least we can do is to protest against them. True, we are too poor to eliminate hunger, but in feeding one child, we protest against hunger. True, we are at times too timid and powerless to take on the guards of all the political prisons in the world. But in offering our solidarity to one prisoner, we denounce all of the tormentors. True, we are powerless against death, but as long as we help one man, one woman, one child live 1 hour longer in safety and in dignity, we affirm a human's right to live.
To sing these songs of freedom. They're all I ever had. Redemption songs. Redemption songs.
Thank you, Cantor. They came first for the communists, and I did not speak up because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak up because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and by that time there was no one left to speak up. Pastor Martin Niemöller was arrested by the Nazis and served 7 years in various concentration camps. We are all linked to each other, and when we see wrongs being committed, to do nothing and to say nothing is wrong. Like the prophets of our scripture, we never forget that God is concerned about the everyday, and that the blights of society take precedence over the mysteries of heaven. And a Reformed synagogue that does not alleviate the anguish of the suffering is a contradiction in terms. Let us invoke our ancestors, both spiritual and genetic, for they are the sole reason for our existence. Let us invoke the children and their children, because they are the sole reason for our existence. Let us invoke the mountains and the rivers and this great planet Earth, and acknowledge our intimacy and our codependency with all things sentient and insentient. Let us reflect that the gift of life is more fragile than the dewdrops on the tips of the morning grasses. And then let us vow. Let us vow and let us promise to heal and to nourish. Let us vow to love and to share. Let us vow to alleviate suffering and bondage. Let us vow to manifest peace and joy with wisdom and with compassion. We continue with the words of our tefillah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Beyahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Ata Rav LeHoshia Morid HaTal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Nemunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechaya Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanat al hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukedoshim b'chol yom Yehallelu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We cannot merely pray to you, God, to end war. For we know that you have made the world in a way so that all of us might find our own way to peace within ourselves and with our neighbors. We cannot merely pray to you, God, to end starvation, for you have already given us the resources with which to feed the entire world, if we would only use them wisely. We cannot merely pray to you, God, to root out our prejudice, For you have already given us eyes with which to see the good in all people, if we would only use them rightly. We cannot merely pray to you, God, to end despair, for you have already given us the power to clear away slums and to give hope, if we would only use our power justly. We cannot merely pray to you, God, to end disease, for you have already given us great minds with which to search out cures and healing, if we would only use them constructively. Therefore, we pray to you instead, God, for strength, determination, and courage, to do instead of just to pray, to become instead of merely to wish. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Praised are you, God, who blesses our people Israel and all peoples with peace. We pray for peace for our nation, for all of our people, and for all peoples on this planet. So too do we want to include our hopes and prayers for peace, for shalom, for wholeness, for those whose very sense of shalom, their wholeness, their sense of well-being has been shattered by the challenges that they are facing, challenges to their health, challenges to their bodies. I begin our Misha Berach with a special prayer for our caregivers. Misha Berach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless all who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, our physicians and nurses, orderlies, patient transporters, hospital cleaning staff, security guards, technicians, home health aides, EMTs, and our pharmacists, all who navigate the unfolding dangers of the world each day to tend to those they have sworn to help. May they be blessed in their coming home and blessed in their going out. May the sacred work of their hands be blessed, and may they bring strength and healing to those that they serve. We include as well those members of our congregation, their family and friends who are facing challenges to their health and to their well-being. May the knowledge of your presence help ease their fear and give them strength. May the time come soon when they and when all of us can breathe without fear. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to all who are in need. I invite you during the musical interlude between the paragraphs to share aloud the name of a friend, a family member, a loved one who is in need of this prayer for shalom, for wholeness. We include as well all those who have suffered injuries in our streets, those who have suffered loss of property, loss of livelihood as well through the acts of violence that has taken place. May they all be restored to a sense of shalom, a sense of wholeness, and most importantly, a sense of peace. Cantor, as always, thank you so much on leading us through our worship service with such beautiful music. And Dr. Ray, thank you as well for making the schlep in and for keeping safe and for being a part of our worship service. I had the opportunity today with members of our congregation to participate in the La Mirada peaceful march that took place. I was there with David Youngman, Leslie Berger, Barry Davis, Greg Mayton, Eleanor and Bill Richmond, and David Fishman. We all showed up. We had signs. There were lots of signs there. Looked to be over 700 people gathered there in the park, perhaps even more, maybe even as many as 1,000 people were there. It was a big crowd that had gathered, a very peaceful march from the La Mirada Regional Park to City Hall. With some speeches just about the situation going on here in the United States, the death of so many African American and people of color, men, women, and children over the years has come to a head in our nation. Some see the world as it is, others see the world as it might be. I am definitely in that category, who see the world as it might be. I see the potential that our country could achieve. I've seen that because I have experienced that with my own people. It wasn't that long ago when we Jews were banned from country clubs, from hotels, from certain neighborhoods, from certain counties in this state and in other states. It wasn't that long ago when the word Jew was a pejorative, usually preceded by an adjective, dirty. And yet here we are. Yes, there are anti-Semitic acts. And yes, those anti-Semitic acts have increased over the recent years. But the difference with the anti-Semitism today is back in the 20s and 30s, when Jews were attacked, when our houses of worship were desecrated, when tombstones were toppled over, no one said a word. Now, when these acts take place, there are many who join by our side. And so I hold out hope, absolutely, in what this country could become, what this country should become, what this country can become. But it is not going to become that on its own. And so that's why I went to the march, and that's why I'm grateful that so many of our congregants joined us there. And yes, there were many others who wanted to join us, but we're in the midst of a pandemic. And although we were wearing our masks and maintaining social distancing, I can certainly understand why people would not want to gather with a large crowd of people, even if you are gathered outside. But there is something amiss in our country. And there is something afoul in the way that we are processing information. Somewhere along the line, we have lost the ability to differentiate between our opinions and our facts. There are those who have elevated their opinions to the status of fact, who have elevated their perception of reality to the truth. And therein lies a great danger. Perhaps this is extreme narcissism. Perhaps this is extreme whatever it is. But we've lost the ability to understand that our opinions are not the facts. And when we are confronted with the facts, we often dismiss them. And there's a great danger in that. We have to break this cycle. Neil deGrasse Tyson, our nation's most creative astrophysicist, says, knowing enough to think you are right is good, but not knowing enough to know you are wrong, therein lies the danger and the balance. Our rabbis teach us, teach your tongue to say, I do not know, and you will indeed go far. It is difficult in our age of social media, of selective news, to truly confront the reality that there are two sides. There are more than two sides to every situation. We become convinced that what I know is the facts and the truth, and that's the end of discussion, and that's the end of debate. Minds become closed. And there is nothing more tragic than a closed mind. We know this. We know this from our Bible. We know this from our ancestors. When they left Egypt, most of them had to die in the wilderness. Why? Because their minds were closed. All they knew was servitude to ancient Egypt. And every obstacle that they confronted, every lack of water, every lack of food, was met with blame. Moses, this is your fault. God, how dare you do this to us? Blame. And that's why they had to die in the wilderness. They could not think themselves free. And so every obstacle, because their minds were so closed, was not only an obstacle, but it was a dead end. And going back to Egypt and all that represented was better than trying to face the challenges of coming up with a solution. And so we know this as a people. We read this in our Torah. When minds are closed, disastrous things happen. Pharaoh's mind was closed to all the advice of his advisors and his courtiers, and even to the pleas of Moses and the children of Israel. The children of Israel, the older generation, their minds were closed unable to think their way out of a situation. Will we learn the lesson? Or will we make the same mistakes? The same mistakes that we have been making, and the same mistakes our people made 3,000 years ago. Let us find strength to open our minds. Let us find strength to question and to challenge our beliefs and to challenge what we think we know. The information is out there. It is not easy to find, but it can be found. Let us take time and let us explore and let us find ways to emerge from this time as the better nation that we can be, as the better people that we can be. May we use this time wisely to look at our past, look at our present, and decide what we want to create in our future. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is our first Friday in June. Hard to believe that it's June already. On the other hand, it's only June. I know it seems like we've been doing this forever. But it's not forever. It's only been since March. And so we are looking forward to the time when we will be able to greet each other in person. We know that time is coming. We know that time is coming soon. We are not in a position to open up Temple Beth Or yet. Our committees and our boards are exploring all of the things that we need to have in place so that we can ensure everybody's health and safety. And once that information is available, we will let everyone know. But they are working on it even as I speak. Well, maybe not because it's Friday night. Shouldn't be working on it, folks. If you are, put it aside. We'll get to it on Sunday. But we are working on it, and once we have our plan developed and know exactly what we need to have in place and get that in place, we will let everybody know when we will be able to welcome everyone back into our sanctuary and into our building. In the meantime, let us acknowledge those celebrating wonderful, happy events during the month of June. Sorry, usually we ask for people who are, retiring or burning their mortgage or making a final car payment. Unfortunately, that I don't know. But if you are celebrating that, please consider the blessing we are about to share to be for you as well. In the meantime, we want to acknowledge those who are celebrating an anniversary in the month of June. Stan and Phyllis Nathanson, Barry and Sandy Lakin, Derek Johnson and Kimberly Gimbel Johnson, Eddie and Celia Goldstein, Jeff and Sandra Strauss, Ellis and Gail Porter, Fred and Ruth Malkin, Tim and Lori Rosenfeld, Alex and Chrissy Horowitz, Harold and Helen Cohen, and Chris and Dina Jastrock. Happy anniversary to all of you. Wonderful. Good job, you June brides and grooms. With that, we also want to acknowledge our birthdays occurring this month in June. Leah Milhander, Lila Mayernick, Miriam Brookfield, Nathaniel Mayton, Magnolia Miller, Leslie Berger, Brad Kramer, Sharon Kravitz, Ricky Seen, Gilbert Delgado, Dottie Roth, Eliana Zwern, Karen Katz, Leonard Nolte, Toby Porter, Maxine Gimbel, Lauren Greenbaum, Melissa Rudolph, Terry Levoot, Iris Tessler, Tom White, Genevieve Payden, Deborah Zlotnick, Timothy Green, Jimmy Greenspan, Eunice Roebuck, Samantha Kotkin, Cheryl Maradiegi, Rebecca Mayernick, and Jaden Johnson. And especially for Miriam Brookfield, who is celebrating a very special birthday this month, her 95th birthday. Her family wanted to sponsor an oneg in honor of her birthday. However, there's no onegs right now. And so nonetheless, when the time comes that we are able to gather together, a special oneg will be shared by our congregation and Miriam Brookfield in honor of her 95th birthday. And Miriam, we too have our world famous, internet famous birthday certificate going out to you. Shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lozman hazeh, God of days and years, author of life, we thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather today to share in the happiness of Miriam Brookfield in celebration of her 95th birthday. May Miriam be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. And with your presence at her side, may Miriam be blessed to see her world in her lifetime. May Miriam's heart act wisely, her lips speak wisdom, her tongue whisper songs, and may her vision always be toward the future. Her eyes shine with the light of Torah, and her face glow like the splendor of the heavens. May Miriam be blessed with wholeness, contentment, peace, and above all with shalom, signed again this 14th day of the month of Sivan, the 5th day of June, in the presence of your congregation, Temple Beth Or. Miriam, we wish you a very, very happy birthday this month, 95. Way to go. And with that, we join again with our cantor and our Shehechianu blessing, toasting all of these beautiful occasions, anniversaries and birthdays again. A mortgage burning, a final car payment, a retirement, a recovery from illness. Whatever you're celebrating in June, join with us as we share in our Shehechianu blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu vekimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu vekimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh.
Mazel tov to Mazel tov to our June brides and grooms and our birthday folks. Happy birthday, Mazel tov to all of you. We continue with the words of our Aleinu, the adoration. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts, our memories, in a place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind the names of those for whom we are observing the Shloshim period. Victoria Torres, mother of Maria Fishman. Miriam Spanner, the aunt of Harry Jacobs. Benjamin Lustig, the nephew of James Greenspan. And Rose Hemleben, the aunt of Sandy Strauss. To those names, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits have occurred during this past week. Hilda Landau Sanders, Rena Joy Pakula Klein, Maurice Rosenfeld, Joseph Rosen, Rose Solomon, Irving Drobny, Abraham Alberts, Benjamin Levinson, Al Tobin, Bernard Beskin, Nancy Zinberg, Julie Morgan, Dick Goodman, Saul Young, Minnie Orlovich, Ruth Becker, Teresa Francis Dezen, Rosalind V. Willinger, Joseph Routh, and Dottie Abel. And to those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Howard Brookfield, Eric Lertzman, Sandra Lertzman, Michael Lertzman, Paula Marcus, Don Kessler, Catherine O'Salisbury, George Sachs, Adrian Henschel, Murray Gimbel, Margaret Hershkowitz, Dr. Gerhard Pascas, Jerry Robinson, Rebecca Lomelli, Dwayne Craven, Edith Wins, Cynthia Algra, Gloria Delatorre Wyckoff, Agnes Fuchs, Edward Weil, Nat Crotinger, David Post, Adam Marcus, Wilma Davis, Walda Mantell, Tyler Jason Gordon, and Celia Atun. If there's a loved one you are remembering, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud, we link as well the names of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. There are so many other names that we need to include, those who have lost their lives at the hands of those who have been sworn to protect them. The list is too long. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be a source of blessing and a source of inspiration to our country, to our nation, and to us as individuals as well. So we continue with the words of our Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei dekodesha barichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, and above all a source of shalom, of peace. And let us all say, Amen. We conclude our service with the singing of "And the Youth Shall See Visions." Sorry, I'm looking at the words of the chorus here on the next slide, and I'm realizing, wait, that's not the name of the song. And the youth shall see visions. Indeed, the youth shall see visions.
By the seashore.
And may we hopefully be inspired by those visions. We may dream, and our youth will see visions. And let us work together to find ways to turn our dreams and their visions into reality. And the youth shall see visions.
Childhood was for fantasies, for nursery rhymes and toys. The world was much too busy to understand small girls and boys. As I grew up, I came to learn that life was not a game, that heroes were just people that we called another name, and the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Now I'm grown, the years have passed, I've come to understand there are choices to be made, and my life today. We must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Give us time, give us strength, give us life.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here at Temple Beth Or in La Mirada. We are grateful to celebrate Shabbat with you. Stay safe. Don't panic. Wash your hands. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, David.
Shabbat Shalom, Phil.
Shabbat Shalom, David.
Shabbat Shalom, David.